All right, welcome back. I said we were going to do a little bit of world building. We're going to do that again on the fly because I think we have some time. And really, I need to start getting these recorded because I write and because I GM a lot, or I did. I haven't GM'd in a while. My brain is always like churning out ideas on this stuff, and I'm trying to keep it spontaneous. Okay. It's a great start. No big intro today. I have changed up my setup a little bit. It's going to be a lot more. The one thing I did forget to start rolling. Stand by. It's going to be a lot more theater of the mind, which is ironic considering I finally printed off the warp gates. Come on now. Okay. Now I believe we are rolling on everything. Dice tray going. Okay, so, and if there is something that I need to depict, warp gates. For all the good they will do, since we're going more theater of the mind. If there is something I need to depict, like a large space battle, which isn't inconceivable, then I will either do it sort of play-by-play through Foundry and their map system, which is excellent. Check Foundry out if you have not. And this module, if you're into Cortex Prime, is super cool. And special thanks to Mark Deacon, who commented on one of my first episodes. He is the one that actually wrote the module for Cortex Prime, which is very powerful. And I am really sort of only scratching the surface of what it can really do. But especially since he sort of told me that you can change the colors in it to match whatever mood you're going for. So I have, which is great to get out of sort of that default set. So when we last left our characters, Shelby had just completed his mission and was on his way back to Maya, her thing. Actually, I'm going to throw her into my NPC list. I've started a database in Notion. I have an idea that I will start to, she's tied up with Abel. I will start to use a great platform called World Anvil, which I was an early supporter for and have not really dug into it as much as I could have over the last, 3 years or however long I've been investing in it. But it might be a good place to dump information about Consortium and the world in general so that you guys can go there instead of me producing a video where I'm pulling cards on plots and that sort of thing, which I think gets a little dry. So, okay, anyway. Now, we are getting rolling. I am going to cut episodes shorter to right around the 20-minute time frame, and I'm going to try posting them every day as close as I can get to it. So this is going to be a long record for me, and which is why my shirt won't change, or maybe I'll mix it up, change my shirt. Okay, so Shelby's on his way back to Maya's station in the Outlands. And we're going to do something which you can do when you're solo role-playing. I'm going to cut to a different location. Ambassador Aria and her ship escort, after talking to Shelby, hoofed it over to Abel Jimera's. I don't even know. I still don't know what to call that place. We're gonna say that in the Consortium there are these, especially for Consortium hired mechanics and shipyards and that sort of thing. They collect them all into these small consortiums, where they can take their ships in and make sure that all the services are there. So I'm not sure what, like a megapolis or something like that, but that's not the word I'm going to use, but that's what it's meant to be. This place where you could get your ship detailed and repaired and the navigation system aligned and the engines upgraded and all of these different trades exist in this one place. It's just that this is sort of Abel's main source of business, so that he gets his own customers coming there as well. So Ambassador Aria lands and goes into Abel's offices, and Abel's assistant is there. I still don't have a name for him. And is kind of looking, just sort of sitting back and looking very pleased with himself at his new storage arrangement that he had been working on the previous time we saw him. Abel is in his back office. He's chatting with somebody at one computer screen. Once in a while, he reaches over to a data pad to scribble some notes onto it. And she and one guard. Well, she is escorted by one guard. He waits at the outside door of the shop, and she travels into the back. And it's pretty obvious that she's aware of Abel, and she's been here before, is basically what I'm trying to say. So we're going to do something. We're going to start actually using mythic rules. Oh, one other small change is I have started using using is a strong term. I am going to be incorporating the second edition of Mythic GME, which came out. From my observation, very similar. There might be some streamlining happening here, especially in the fate chart itself, which he had double the number of possibilities here, and now he's chopped it down to appear about 9. Which I think is fine. Some people have problems with that. Well, I don't know why, but I certainly don't. But one thing that we do before the scene begins is we are going to we're starting at basically a chaos level of 5. And what you do, I think I just remember this, what you're going to do, what I'm going to do anyway, is you take 2d10, you roll them the atom together. I just want to find this place, make sure I'm not testing scenes. Oh, roll 1d10. Okay, so we're in the testing scenes section here. Decide how you think the next scene will begin. This is the expected scene. Roll 1d10 to test the expected scene. If you roll a chaos factor or less and the number is odd, then the scene is an altered scene. If you roll a chaos factor and it's even, then it's an interrupt scene. So this is how I think the scene is going to go. And I like this because it'll force me not to pre-build these scenes. But she is there for a couple different reasons. One reason is, well, let me talk a little bit about Aria first. Aria she's an up-and-comer and a climber. So she has found it easier to turn away when Abel, she was also Abel's apprentice coming up. And she found it easier to turn towards her career when he said, I'm seeing this bad stuff go down. She didn't want anything. She was too hot. And so she just wanted to do her thing and get her promotions and get her Mark 7 and be, she had sort of dreams of fame, which it can happen with an ambassador. You meet and help so many people. So I think initially her motivation was very altruistic, but it changed as you can see happen to some people that start to gain a little power. Then it becomes about maintaining the power. And I think that's where her character just shifted just a little bit. She still have the aspects of why she was there in the first place and probably tells herself those things to make it through the day. But really the end result is her really just consolidating her own, she's kingdom building a little bit. So she is there for a couple different reasons. One, she is a little frustrated she wasn't able to get anything more out of Shelby. So she kind of wanted to dig into his friends a little bit, and she is there to slap Abel in the face by giving him a very menial, very difficult but still menial job on her ship that doesn't need to get done. And we're going to start with that. So we're going to roll 1d10, and the chaos level is 5. Okay, good. Something interesting happens. If you roll a chaos factor less and the number is even, which it is, yes it is, then the scene is an interrupt scene. So interrupt scenes generate a random event and use that as the basis for the start of the scene. Okay, how do we do that? Okay, I think I've got it. I don't think she's gonna play it nice. I don't think I did that right. I think it's gonna be negative, and I think she's really gonna try to be a badass about this. So she gets his attention. She's just sort of leaning in the doorway. Her arms are crossed, and she's got a slight smile. Not a smile, but just like a smug expression on her face. And she says, Engineer Jimera, it's been a while. I see you look quite busy, and Abel is staring at his screen and then kind of looks over at her and says, Ambassador Aria, well, I didn't think you were in these parts. I thought you were sent out to the Outlands. It's kind of strange. She said, well, I go where I am told, more or less. But she comes in the office, takes a seat. I had some questions for you, actually. Some strange events seems to have occurred at this location, and it's raised some eyebrows. I have been sent to discern the limits of what I hope is not a difficult situation for you. He doesn't know what she's talking about, and just at that moment, he can see out of the corner of his eye, and his monitor is a message waiting, and he just clears the screen, and he says, enlighten me, I'm at your service. She says, some time ago, sometime in the last 15 hours or so, I know that Carrol Shelby visited your establishment to get some work done on his Mark VI. He was traveling to the Outlands for some unknown reason. Do you know why he would be going to the Outlands? He said, no. He said he was going a long ways. We didn't get into detail. Why? Is he not allowed to travel to the Outlands? She said, no, of course not. That would be ridiculous. He was a member of the consortium, a citizen, in good standing. I hope to ensure that continues to be the case. And now he's starting. Let's see if he can school his expression a little bit. So I'm doing a couple D8s. We're gonna see who actually has the upper hand. And she's also a couple D8s. And a D6. She is setting difficulty here because she's sort of setting the tone. He is, and she keeps like jabbing at him, and this is to sort of get his reaction. So her result is going to be the target number, and then his result will be his response to it, and rolling all at once. Oh, look at all those ones, and let's see how many ones I can not ignore today. So her target number is a 5, terrible roll, with a D8, and his roll is really not that better, not that much better, a 7 with a D8. So I'm going to say in this case that he can. I wonder I can't remember how that goes. I don't know if she gets complications for setting target numbers. But he's got 2 complications. So we're going to say, I'm going to say that she is going to gain a D8 in this scene, an additional D8, which is going to take care of these 2 complications. Because he is feeling off balance. Whatever he was working on is still sort of in his mind, and he was not expecting to be interrogated in this way. He says, I'm actually going to start roll my timer a little bit here because I know I was doing some research. He says, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Carrol Shelby is an upstanding citizen. He served the consortium faithfully and loyally for years. And I believe he trained you, if I'm not mistaken. She said, well, no reason to get hot or angry or frustrated. We're merely just curious, professional curiosity, I suppose. And he kind of looks down at his desk and, all right. And she says, there is one thing. Well, while he was here, it seems that the artificial intelligence on his Mark VI was activated under your voice authorization. Do you know anything about that? And here he gets a little surly. And he says, I am a consortium engineer. I interact with artificial intelligence multiple times every day. While in the course of performing service, it is often required to cooperate and collaborate with the artificial intelligence aboard a ship. Were you not aware of that? And the pleasantries begin to drop. And she says, Engineer Jimera, I have reason to believe you are hiding something from me. Your emotional makeup is all over the map. It would be very unfortunate if an official investigation had to be opened on looking at you and your business practices. And he doesn't really know how to handle that. It kind of sets him back a little bit. He says, look, yeah, I activated his artificial intelligence so that I could look through to see if there was anything unusual in his logs. I didn't find anything. The artificial intelligence couldn't have been active for more than 10 or 15 seconds. What are you suggesting? And we're going to see if, because he's trying to push her back. He's setting a difficulty number. She's got an extra D8 because of his complication. So that's a really good difficulty, Abel. So that's an 11 with a D8. And she now has, she has lost, I'm going to say she has lost her D8 advantage because she's got 2 ones of herself and she fails that roll. So she, the fact dice are the same, but I'm going right now with the difficulty dice. And she says, my mistake. I should know better than to question the loyalty of a consortium engineer with an impeccable service record. You did, however, spend quite a lot of time with Carrol Shelby during his career. He said a lot of people did. He was very popular, very good at what he did. She said, oh, I know. And I do not forget the lessons that he taught me while I was learning as his apprentice. However, there are events beginning to take shape in the consortium. It would be unfortunate for Mr. Shelby or anyone associated with him to get wrapped up in those events too closely. You might want to watch who you associate with. It would be unfortunate if we should, say, have to start to pull tabs on your family, for example. For instance, your son. He's stationed on Hyperion, last I heard. And at that, he crosses his arms and smiles and says, that's right. She says, well, we've recently opened a new consortium office. It has become part of that diocese. And a number of priests have already moved to that planet. I'm sure that it would be only a call or two to have them check in on your son if there was any issues. He smiles at that too, and he says, look, my son was a terraforming engineer. He helped settle Hyperion. You want to go check on my son, try to intimidate my son? You don't send a couple priests just out of seminary still wet behind the ears. You send a goddamn tank. And she says, oh, I wasn't suggesting anything of the sort. She says, listen, I have actual business here in the consortium offices. I would like you to perform a level 1 detailed maintenance on my navigational array. My endpoints have started to slip a couple of degrees. He said, do you have any idea how long a level 1 diagnostic of a navigational array on a Mark 7 takes? And she says, well, I expect my businesses to last for the next 6 or 7 hours. I believe the maintenance shouldn't take any more than 5.5 or 6. She gets up at that and turns to walk out of the office. And he's a little bit upset. And right before she hits the door, like to get out, he says, "Did Shelby ever bring up anything that he might have noticed going on in the consortium?" And she stops, and you can see her back sort of tense. Says, "He ever talk to you about any of that?" And she kind of half turns. She just dips her head a little bit and doesn't look over her shoulder, but looks down at the floor. And she says, "Did he tell you anything about that?" And there is a pause. He kind of lets that sit in the air a little bit. And he says, "No. He just said it was important." And she kind of smirks. "See to it that my ship is ready when I am," and leaves the shop.